This guy, his name is Tadhg Hickey, and that lady, Bunny Boiler, is Emily Schrader. She's a Zionist, a very, very genocidal maniac type of person, and she is a genocidal maniac. In fact, they had a debate, and now let's take a listen to what he is saying here. It's something that Emily will mention, the Zionist woman will mention, that will make you laugh. I think that is laughable. I don't know if I should cry or get angry, but she is just becoming a joke, a laughing stock.
Pick up on that, what Emily's saying. Flying the Hamas flag, which we saw from kneecap, is they're a designated terrorist organisation, and saying death to the IDF. Isn't that taking it a step too far than just saying free, free Palestine?
Well, I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that vast swathes of the global south would see the IDF as akin to a terrorist organisation. They would see Israel as illegally occupying Palestine. And many people in the West now are coming round to the realization of just how brutal, just how oppressive the settler colonial project of Zionism is in Palestine. And I think to demonize the resistance is getting harder and harder for the Israelis when on our phones every day we are seeing the brutal effects of the Israeli war machine all over the region. So in my view, when an artist, in the context of a gig particularly, says death to the IDF, by the way, he's not calling for the killing or the murder of individual people. He is commenting on what I would perceive to be a war. It might have started off as some sort of war. It's now an absolute genocide between an oppressive colonial force and people who are resisting that oppressive colonial force. In every context I can think of, you would say death to the enemy. If people support the Ukrainian war effort, as Wes Streeting went on record as saying recently, he said, oh, well, I wouldn't like to see the death of Russian soldiers. Well, unfortunately, that's what happens. That's conflict. There's a complete logical disconnect. If you want your side to win, the other side has to lose. And so to say death to the IDF is not calling for the death or killing of individual Israelis or Jewish people. It's calling for the death and the end to this oppressive military machine, which has carried out war crimes on a daily basis, admitted by their own human rights organizations and their own press in Israel. That's the story. And British complicity in that ongoing genocide is the story. To be centering the speaking points of a punk band or kneecap is a disgrace to the victims of this ongoing Holocaust.
Now, what about, Emily Schrader has a big problem with Bob Villan calling for death to IDF. What about those Zionist politicians and Zionist supporters who are calling every single day death to the Arabs? Kick out the Palestinians. What about those politicians like Ben Gvir or Bezalel Smotrich calling for a complete annihilation and stopping of aid, starvation for the people of Gaza on a regular basis? We hear that every single day. What about those calls, Emily Schrader? Is this not also terrorism? Like Bob Villan, what he said is something that was already mentioned by your politicians. Death to Arabs, death to the Palestinian, starve them, kill them, mass murder them, evict them, ethnically cleanse them. Unbelievable.
Obviously, I disagree. I mean, I think also some of the claims that have just been made are not entirely accurate. Also, when it comes to the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, I mean, the entire reason they're there in the first place is because the UN has failed repeatedly to be able to distribute aid. Even after Israel had approved trucks upon trucks upon trucks of humanitarian aid, it still wasn't distributed. Now, I can't fault them completely for that because a lot of the problem that they're facing on the ground in Gaza is coming from Hamas. It's coming from the corruption of Hamas. It's coming from the fact that they have stolen aid. They have shot Palestinians in the process of doing so. And one of the only bodies, that's not true. There's plenty of evidence. Look at Arabic social media. There's plenty of evidence. In addition to
Arabic
that,
social media.
Arabic. See, this is the point where I laugh, even though I don't know if I should be laughing or should be angry. But this Bunny Boiler is saying, look at the Arabic social media to find out how Hamas is stealing aid and how Hamas is totally 100% responsible for all of this. I mean, unbelievable. Arab social media will tell you that? No. Arab social media is actually telling us the genocide. They are live broadcasting this genocide. I mean, these Zionist warmongers, maniacs, they lie through their teeth and absolutely have no shame. And they think that they will just lie and get away with all of this BS. But they don't. This time Again, he's an Irish politician, political activist actually, Tadhg Hickey. He caught her right then and there.
Humanitarian Foundation.
Where's the authorities? Where are the authorities speaking that Hamas
that
is
has
blamed?
sent out
Where?
millions of meals to Palestinians in need in the Gaza Strip, including just in the past few days, millions of meals were distributed. The controversy has arisen because there are multiple groups who have been trying to get to these points at the same time. In addition to the fact he mentioned the article in Haaretz, this is something that the IDF flat out denied. In addition to that, they stated that they will be conducting an additional investigation into this. However, anybody who is directed to fire at civilians directly, this is a contradiction inherently of the rules of conflict of the IDF itself. So this wouldn't happen.
Emily, I'm going to direct us back to
Okay, Emily, just shut up, because just a few days ago we have seen a British soldier. He's a veteran. He reported from Gaza, and he said, look, there is no shooting going on. People who are coming for the aid in Gaza, those 8 points, nobody's getting shot. Do you know when he was reporting? While he was recording his reporting, we heard gunshot. We heard gunshot. This guy said, no fighting is going on. Nobody's getting killed. But the whole world heard the gunshot. And this bunny boiler again, this pathetic person is saying that Hamas is responsible, no shooting is going on, and that the Zionist forces are there to protect the people of Gaza. Can you believe her? I mean, you should not be even showing your face. You shouldn't be even saying those things, because your minister, I'm talking about the Zionist ministers, who are calling for open mass slaughter of the people of Gaza, you cannot defend those ministers. You cannot come on this kind of show, Emily, and tell us a completely different story. This is absolutely pathetic.
our free speech
That should be
debate.
investigated. But what he's saying is not the case, and neither was what Haaretz reported.
Okay.
When it comes to free speech, when it comes
All
to
right, so let me ask you this then,
I don't
Emily.
know-
If we had a band, a different band, say, at a different venue, a different gig, chanting death to the Navy SEALs or death to Scotland Yard if they're talking about police brutality, do you think they would experience the same backlash as what we've seen for Bob Villan and Kneecap?
I think yes. I think you would see quite a bit of controversy over something like that. As I said at the beginning, calling for death to someone is very different than a political protest or a line. Even what he said, that they have a problem with the ideology or they have a problem with whatever. There's such a thing as legitimate criticism, and there's such a thing as illegitimate criticism. And when you're talking about death to an entire army of
Again, Emily Schrader, you stupid moron, just go back to your ministers, what they have said. Go back to your people, the colony of the Zionist state of Israel, and hear what they said about the Arabs, hear what they said about the people of Gaza, Palestine, hear what they're doing in the West Bank. Then you come and talk to us. Unbelievable, pathetic, moron, stupid.